GT the Vibe Podcast. Launch another episode. We rocking out this week again. I'm gonna give a shout out to my church, First Pentecostal Church. Uh, my boy Trey calls me the preacher policeman. Uh, Shout out to those guys. Shout out to my Vibe sisters. We're gonna get them back. Crazy Shonda, and then A Marie. We're gonna get them back. Life has definitely changed for us, and we're gonna talk about that. But I'm talking about the trauma bonded book that I got coming out this summer, guys. I'm gonna talk a little bit about healing, a little bit about the other side. I'm gonna read an excerpt from the book, so you guys get to hear it here first. Where looking into social media and how that affects the healing process when you're coming out of a mentally abusive relationship and you're trauma bonded to an individual. Um, Things that you do. They say no contact. I call it don't look back. That's what I call it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, even not contacting, there are people that become obsessed, right? Um, you've been in this intense relationship for a while. You come out, you don't know that you're trauma bonded because you don't even know what trauma bonded is. I didn't know what it was till coming out on the other side, right? Um, I didn't really like look at social media. I kind of like for me, I was in the mindset of okay, don't look back, period. Like, don't look back, period. And so you block them on everything and you don't look at any of their social media because you don't care anymore. Um, so I took a very, it's kind of like I mean, a trauma bond is essentially the same as a drug addiction. So you just quit cold turkey. That's right. It's like I was doing drugs, and I just quit cold turkey, right? So I don't call it because no contact to me is not doesn't cover all the bases, right? That's just not making contact with them. But what if you're obsessively ruminating and you're like looking at their social media? That's but you're not contacting them. You're just looking at their social media. And so a lot of people I think have that problem, have that issue. That's the reason why I don't say no contact. I say don't look back. When you turn and you start walking in the other direction and you keep on walking, right? And the further you get away, right, the thoughts start to change. And eventually there's no thought of them at all. Like it's gone. Like it's done. It's over. So I call it "Don't look back." That's my that's gonna be my slogan for healing from trauma bonds. Don't look back. Just turn, walk the other direction, and keep on walking. And you know what? You'll pick up some friends along the way. You'll pick up some hobbies along the way. You'll find out a lot about yourself along this path. But I'm gonna read an excerpt from the book real quick, and this kind of dives into like the aspect of um, looking at social media and kind of like you want to you go no contact, but then it's like, dang. And so this is a part of the book. It's going to be in chapter 2, where detective is just kind of he's reminiscing on the past. Like he's got this case in front of him. Um, he's starting to dive into, and it's kind of like, man, he starts just looking back. So I'm gonna read a little bit about it, and I'm gonna kind of explain to you what it means. And you guys will get this on some of my podcasts. I'll read some parts from the book that way, just kind of give you guys a little taste of what's to come. So basically, he's sitting in the parking lot right now. He's got a case in hand, and he just starts thinking back to his past. That was a lot of thoughts for sure. I pulled into the driveway and started to scroll on my phone. I came across a picture, the last picture I wanted to see. It was a picture of her. Roxanne always had the biggest smile on her face. I don't know why she posted that picture online. That was not something I wanted to come across myself. She was my biggest mistake and biggest life lesson. She came into my life at a time when I was going through a divorce and I was vulnerable. I lost a lot during that time, and maybe I was not in the right mindset. This job has been known to tear apart families just due to the constant stress and time away. It took that part of my life away. I have my regrets in the situation and things I could have done better. Things I wish that I did better. And so he's kind of reminiscing, he's kind of looking back through the past. And that just kind of reminded me something. He scrolls across a picture on his phone, right? And what happens is these people when they abuse you, when it's time to separate, whether you leave them or they leave you, it's the oh I'm happy, the life is so good without you type of mindset. what they're doing is trying to make it seem like, or they're trying to give you the image of you're nothing. Because at the end of the day, they want you to feel like you're nothing. And so that's the reason why I go with the mindset of don't look back, not no contact, because you can not have contact with a person, but you can still you end up stalking their social media, right? You don't want to do that because what happens is you don't allow your body the opportunity to get over that hump, right? Or that mountain. Because a lot of times these are mountains. You got to climb to the top and then climb back down on the other side, right? And in order for you to do that, you can't look back. That's what they say when you're climbing up. Don't look down. Don't look down. You can't climb. You can't be climbing up a mountain and you're constantly looking down, right? You can't do that. That instills fear. And it's the same thing in these type of relationships when you're leaving you keep looking and ruminating. You're looking at their social media. They're happy. They seem happy. They may be throwing somebody else around to try to make you jealous and all that jazz. But what happens is it instills fear in you. Like, man, like maybe that person's getting the best of them. But you have to remember they're getting what you got. So there's no change, right? Change is only temporary to get people locked in, right? And so you have to know that and you have to have that mindset to where you're not sitting back like, man, if that person's getting the best, and that's what happened. That's the reason why that's gonna be the vibe slogan for me, right? And I'm gonna put that in the book. Don't look back. Once you left and it's time to leave, allow your body time to heal from the anxiety, the constant stress, um, and the changes that it may you may change as a person, right? And you may need to figure out how to get back to yourself and navigate that. And so that's the reason why I say turn your back and walk the other direction and keep on walking, right? You'll have friends that's gonna come on that walk with you. There's good people out there, right? And they won't judge you, right? They when you got good friends, they're not gonna sit here and just judge you. They're gonna tell you that you were doing some dumb stuff, right? And you'll see that in the book. I have so essentially, uh, Detective Johnson has a best buddy. I mean, got in the department the same year. They graduated the same year. Both detectives. They've worked together a lot. And so he has a buddy that basically was putting him up on game. Like, bro, you probably don't want to do that, but he did it anyway, right? But his buddy was still there on the other end to help him continue his walk as he continued to walk in the opposite direction. And so that's what I want you guys to get from today is that you have to turn your back and you have to continue to walk in a different direction because at the end of the day, you were too good for that person. You were 100% too good for that person. When you realize that you were too good for that person, oh man, the healing, the progress and the healing just goes by fast then. And so, but you have to have that mindset. You have to think like that. I was too good for that person. So let the new person have that. You don't want that, right? You don't want to have to deal with that. You don't want to have to deal with constantly looking over your shoulder or walking on eggshells or you don't want to deal with that, right? And then when your body starts to re-regulate, you'll feel it. I mean, I felt every bit of it. Like heart palpitations, all that stuff. Like you feel it when you're starting to re-regulate and your body's starting to come back down to a new norm, right? Not a new norm, but the old norm is coming back. And so, but it takes that. Like it sucks. It's painful. And if you're a Christian, pray, read the Bible. I have a podcast on the Bible podcast on YouTube where I talk about Peter, um, and then I also talk about Elijah. And so, I talk about how Jezebel was doing her thing and instilled fear. And when she instilled fear, depression happened, right? When you're asking God to take you out, right? Because of the things that have happened in your life or the things that are currently happening, um, that's deep. And so some people get there in these type of relationships. Some people get to that point. And so all you need is that hand. Sometimes that hand that you get is God. He's reaching down for you, like, let's go. Um, he ripped me out of the position I was in, um, and took everything, right? And sometimes you have to lose everything to gain the world or to gain whatever he has to gain for you. And so he took everything. I changed as a person, right? Who the person I become, I was not proud of. And so he rips me out of there, says, let's go. And guess what? Off I went. And I haven't looked back since, and I'll never look back again. I will continue to move forward. And that's my hope for you guys, that you guys continue to move forward. For those of you that rock with me, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys sharing, liking, subscribing. I'm on YouTube, the Vibe Podcast, TikTok too. TikTok's just under my name. I don't even know my TikTok. It's like Gary Thompson 53 or some kind of crazy stuff like that. But oh yeah, I'm on both. And I post up constantly. I will be posting up more. And when the book comes out, y'all will be the first to know. I'll announce it here. And then I want y'all flying off the shelves, guys. I want you guys to get it and read it and critique it. Let me know what you think. And if you're going through, um, you're in the trauma bond and you're trying to get out, holler at me. If you've gotten out and you're trying to stay out, holler at me. Been there, done that, been through it. So I understand what you guys are going through. Like I said, don't turn back. It's GT, I'm out.